Hey guys, it's Charlie. It's the 7th of January, Friday. I'm in Denver today, but I still wanted to put out a video about the unemployment report that came out. But first I want to share some of the comments and some of the sentiment that has come into the radio program. A lot of you have commented in the chat room or called in and said you better hold on because something's up. We've had a month straight of green shoots being jammed down our throat, telling us it's the best Christmas season since 2006, telling us we've had more jobs created in 1 month, the best month in 4 or 5 years. So what's coming down the road? I agree with that sentiment. You know, every time that there's some big agenda move one way or the other, they like to either try to scare the populace or try to promise us the moon. You know, either tell us it's going to be the end of the world if we don't give them what they want, or promise us everlasting prosperity if we do give them what they want. We've seen it time and time again. You know, the bailouts, healthcare, stimulus. I mean, every time that they want something huge, they got to sell it to the American people first. And that's what we have going on now. I mean, we have, you know, everybody needs to believe that we are in the midst of recovery. And everybody needs to believe that the only reason we are in the midst of recovery is because of extraordinary efforts taken by the Federal Reserve and the government. The fact of the matter is we're in far, far worse shape than we were 2 years ago. The only people who are in better shape are the people who brought us here. I mean, the banks who used to own all these toxic assets now have been shifted through the Federal Reserve onto the American people. They're doing better, but you and I are not. One green shoot that came out was the unemployment number today, 9.4%. And I wanted to explain a little bit on how they get this number, how they derive a huge drop from 9.8 to 9.4 with only allegedly 150,000 jobs being created. Most people know who follow this channel that you need 150,000 jobs a month just to keep up with the population growth in this country. So 150,000 jobs created should keep the employment number exactly the same. The U3 number should have been at 9.8 again. Why wasn't it? Well, it's simple. We are now at a 25-year low in the percentage of participation rate in the civilian workforce. Now what that means is, on average, over the last decade, 66% of people who are eligible to participate in the workforce do. But what we see is the government adjusting this percentage down. And when they do this, they can take people out of the labor pool, basically meaning they don't exist. And these people are not working for multiples reasons. Maybe they got fired. More likely, they can't find a job and they just gave up looking for a job. They lower this percentage rate down, and then they can report a lower percentage of unemployed. They just basically X these people out. They become non-persons. They don't exist. So when we have a month with 150,000 jobs being created, allegedly, it's not a decrease of almost 0.5%. It's a decrease in the number of people they're reporting who are looking for work and can't find work. I'll attach a story from Zero Hedge that explains it a lot better than I can, but the gist of it is this. Instead of creating 150,000 jobs last month, in reality, we lost over 200,000 jobs. If we tacked on the percentages that the government has lopped off over the last months and years, we truly have about a deficit of 3.9 million people. They're just not accounting for. So if we went back to the standard 66% of eligible people working in the workforce are working or looking for work, that means our U3 rate should be at 11.7%. But it's not. They've adjusted it down to 9.4. This is all fictitious anyway, because if we use the metric they used during the Great Depression, well, guess what? We're back in those Great Depression's numbers. But look at this. We have, you know, propaganda. We have people coming out just beating over our heads that, you know, the recovery's working. We need more time. We need more money. And my message is simple. All the money they've spent, multiple times the annual GDP, has created nothing for the average person in this country. The wealth effect, letting Wall Street be healthy so Main Street can be healthy, is proven to be an absolute loser. How much longer are we going to let them continue to just spin us into absolute oblivion? You know, it might seem like a fruitless effort, but I do urge everybody, and I'll attach a number to the congressional switchboard, to call your representative and say, do not raise our national debt limit. We're at $14+ trillion. We can't afford another dime that we're tacking on to our debt that we get to pay for or our kids get to pay for. The only one who's going to experience the austerity of all this debt is the ever-shrinking middle class. The folks on Wall Street and the people they finance in Washington are never going to feel the austerity that we, the people, are going to feel. I'll attach this story and the congressional switchboard number. That's all I got.